Jean Piaget is one of the most influential cognitive theorists in development, inspired to explore children's ability to think and reason by watching his own children's development. So French siya, no? Si Jean Piaget. He was one of the first to recognize and map out the ways in which children's intelligence differs from that of adults. Uh, he he noticed this when developing a French version of the Binet intelligence test. The Binet intelligence test is the first intelligence test. He became interested in this area when he was asked to test the IQ of children and began to notice that there was a pattern in the wrong answers. So he believed that children's intellectual skills change over time, that the maturation rather than training brings about that change. So, ibig sabihin, kung may mga bata na age 6 at pare-pareho ang mga maling sagot nila, so ibig sabihin, hindi pa sila nagmamature. Diba? Pero pagdating ng age 7 or 8, yung mga mali nilang yun ay kayang-kaya nang sagutin ng mga bata by 7 or 8. Kasi ganun na design din yung Binet intelligence test. So, he focused on development, not learning or how we learn. Cognitive development consists of stages in which children's understanding of their surroundings become increasingly meaningful. Piaget believed that we are continuously trying to maintain cognitive equilibrium or a balance or cohesiveness in what we see and what we know. Children have much more of a challenge in maintaining this balance because they are constantly being confronted with new situations, new words, new objects. When faced with something new, a child may either fit it into an existing framework or schema. Example ng schema, no? Halimbawa, yung bata meron siyang schema or knowledge ng bola or a ball. And then, meron siyang nakita na pakwan. Okay? Yung idea niya or yung schema niya ng bola, pwedeng nagbabounce, it's made of rubber, diba? Tas, it's made of rubber, nagbabounce siya, and then round siya yung shape. Okay. Kapag may nakita siya na pakwan, no, pwede niyang tawagin yung pakwan na ball. Pero kung halimbawang na-discover niya na yung pakwan pala hindi nagbabounce, tapos yung when he tried to drop it, biglang nabasag nabiyak yung pakwan, tapos yung pala, meron palang laman sa loob, pagkain pala siya, so magkakaroon siya ng new knowledge about the pakwan, and that is accommodation. No, we have to change current schema to match the new schema. So, pakwan is not a ball, it's a fruit na nakakain, it does not bounce, so that's accommodation. And then assimilation is, yun yung nakita mo yung bata, nakita niya yung pakwan, tapos inassimilate niya, parang kinompare niya dun sa schema niya, sa idea niya ng ball. So, yun yung assimilation. And then yung sinasabi natin kanina na equilibrium, when new information does not fit into the current schema, it causes frustration. Diba? Try to imagine yung bata kung he was trying to bounce yung pakwan, tapos ang frustration, hindi naman pala yun ball yun. Diba? Frustration then drives to restore balance and then learning takes place. Yung pakwan pala, hindi pala siya bola. Hindi pala siya pwedeng laruin kasi pagkain pala siya. Diba? Masasayang yung pagkain. And that process na assimilation, accommodation, and equilibrium, that is the adaptation na sinasabi ni Jean Piaget. So, it's a process of transition from stage to stage. And then we have the stages of development. We will discuss this on the next slide. Piaget suggested different intelligences or ways of understanding that are associated with maturation. So, una, we have the sensory motor stage. This is an intelligence based on knowledge that relies on use of the senses and motor skills. Kaya nga, sense and motor. Okay, this is from birth until about age 2. The infant knows by tasting, of their senses, no, by looking, by touching, by mouthing, smelling, hearing, and moving objects around. This is a real hands-on type of knowledge. So, a developmental phenomena for this stage is stranger anxiety and object permanence. Stranger anxiety, there will come a time na yung bata, hindi mo na siya makukuha sa nanay niya or caregiver niya kasi nakakakilala na siya. And then object permanence is when you try to hide an object, yung bata depende sa maturation niya kung hahanapin ba niya yung object na yon or hindi. Next, we have the pre-operational stage. This involves being able to think about the world using symbols. A symbol is something that stands for something else, no? Representing things with words and images. So yun yung mga symbol, especially the use of language. Pwede rin silang gumamit ng words or gestures that facilitates knowing and communicating about the world. This is the hallmark of pre-operational intelligence and occurs in early childhood, so about 2 to 6 years old. However, these children are pre-operational or pre-logical. So wala pa silang logical reasoning. They still do not understand how the physical world operates. So, developmental phenomena for this stage would be pretend play, di ba? Pwedeng gagamitin nila yung wales, sasakyan nila, and then egocentrism, hindi pa nila makita yung view ng ibang tao. Naka-focus pa sila sa kanilang mga sarili. And then because we use a symbol, we have the language development. Next, we have the concrete operational stage. This is the ability to think logically about the physical world. So, kaya na nilang mag-isip, they can think logically about concrete events. Middle childhood is a time of understanding concepts such as size, distance, and constancy of matter, and cause and effect relationships. So, this is about 7 to 11 years old. They can also perform arithmetic operations. No, pag sinabing conservation, halimbawa yung clay, pagka finlat mo, it's the same clay. And then, they can perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So, that's the mathematical transformation, di ba? Halimbawa, 2 plus 2 equals 4. So, kapag ka 4 binawasan mo, sinubtract mo ng 2, 2 yung sagot. So, nare-reverse nila. They can transform that. And then the last stage is the formal operational stage. This is the ability to think logically about concrete and abstract events. So, they are capable of abstract thinking. So, this is about 12 through adulthood. No? They capable of developmental phenomena would be abstract logic. Alam na nila na when they talk about love, they talk about freedom, they talk about morality, yung mga ganyan. And they have a potential for moral reasoning. Mga religious ideas, yung mga ethics. A person or a teenager who has reached this stage is able to consider possibilities, no, abstract nga yun, and to contemplate ideas about situations that have never been directly encountered. So, pwede mong sabihin, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, ano yung na-review mo about yourself? So, they can already think about that.